And now it is my esteemed honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Kim Bearden. Kim Bearden is co-founder, executive director, and language arts teacher at the highly acclaimed Ron Clark Academy, an innovative nonprofit middle school and educator-training facility in Atlanta. More than 115,000 educators from around the world has visited Kim's classrooms and have attended her workshops to learn better ways to engage students, promote academic excellence, build relationships, foster creativity, and create a climate and culture for success. Throughout her career, Kim has received numerous accolades, such as being honored at the White House for being inducted into the National Teachers Hall of Fame. She is chosen from over 70,000 nominations to be honored as the Disney American Teacher Awards Outstanding Humanities Teacher, and the Milken Family Foundation selected her to receive the Award for Excellence in Education. Over the past 36 years, she has been teacher, instructional lead teacher, curriculum director, school board member, staff development trainer, and middle school principal. Kim is a best-selling author of 3 books, Fight Song, Talk to Me, and Crash Course. Additionally, Kim shares her passion and love for her craft with audiences around the world as a keynote speaker and professional development trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Ms. Kim Bearden. Thank you.
Thank you, President Hyland, distinguished guests, beloved friends and family. To the class of 2023, I am extraordinarily excited to be here with you today, and it is a tremendous honor, especially because I know some of you have overcome great obstacles to get to this point. You've had many sleepless nights. Some of you began this journey during the uncertainty of COVID. You have held down full-time jobs. You have taken care of your families. Some of you in this audience are the very first in your families to have been able to have the opportunity to harness the power of higher education. And so all of this has made you very resilient, and it's also made you formidable as well. Now, I do get to spend my days at a place called the Ron Clark Academy. Ron Clark and I met way back in the year 2000, and he looked at me and he said, you know what, you and I should start a school together one day. Now, those of you who are going into education, you will learn that that is a conversation that educators have all the time. Oh, if I had my own school, this would be what I would do. I said, sure, Ron, that sounds like a great idea. I didn't really think it would happen, but then some amazing things did start to happen. We actually committed to doing this, and we wanted to have a school where kids could not wait to get in the door every day, where they were excited about learning, where they were highly engaged, but also where they were challenged, where students from all different kinds of backgrounds would learn to thrive and succeed. But we had an even bigger dream. We thought, how can we provide this opportunity to students who don't come to our school every day? So we had this idea. We said, what if we got the best teachers we could find and we put them all in one building? And what if instead of closing our doors, what if we opened our doors? What if we let educators from all over come and sit and watch us teach, attend our workshops, not because we're perfect, because there's no such thing as a perfect teacher, but because there's that power in being able to watch others do their craft and to be able to collaborate and share ideas. And so now, yes, we've had over 120,000 educators actually visit what was once this 100-year-old dilapidated warehouse in Atlanta. We used proceeds from a book that Ron wrote that was a New York Times bestseller, and that's how we actually purchased the building. But then we had to rely on so many others to come along and support us in our dream because we are this nonprofit. And it was hard work. The hardest professional work I've ever had to do in my life. Please don't ever buy into the narrative that in order to take care of yourself, you can't work hard as well. You all are testament to that because you have worked so hard to get to this point. Don't lose that, because I fully believe that the things that often matter the most to us in life take hard work. Even having a good marriage, hard work. Being a good parent, it's very hard work. Having a career where you feel a sense of purpose and joy, hard work. Now, this fall, I'm still a classroom teacher. I teach 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. In addition to being an administrator, I will be entering my 37th year in the classroom. And thank you. And I teach language arts. Now, while I have dedicated my profession to the importance of good writing, grammar, and punctuation, and yes, your use of apostrophes does matter, so please use them correctly, I think that the importance of a good life is even more paramount. And so over these years, I have taught literally thousands of students, tens of thousands of lessons. But today with you, I want to share some of the most important ones that I've learned in my journey along the way. Many of them from my students, others from the incredible people that I've had as my colleagues along the way as well. Now, first of all, today it's a beautiful day. It's a joyful day. It's a magnificent day, but not all days will be. Some of you have already overcome great obstacles, experienced trauma, but trust me, every single one of us in this room, at some times, we will have things that will happen that will bring us to our knees, knock the wind out of us, make us just want to pull the covers over our heads and stay in that bed forever. And when that happens, it's human nature that we sort of turn into ourselves. Sometimes we just close off other people. We put up walls. Sometimes we become paralyzed, even though we have the talent to propel ourselves forward. And when this happens, you must remember, please do not turn into yourself. This is the perfect time to actually reach outward and lift others upward. You see, when you lift others upward, what you will find is that you will actually pull yourself up in the process. At my darkest hours, what I have realized is that this stuff coming at me, whether it be professional things or personal things, this doesn't define who I am. This defines who I am. And the same is true with every single one of you in this room. No matter what things come your way, whether they be personal or professional, it is not what happens to you that will define who you are. It is what happens through you that will write the pages of your story. And just because something happens to you, it does not mean that there is anything wrong with you. And then, when we experience this kind of challenge or trauma, we tend to feel completely powerless. We feel like we don't have a voice. We feel frustrated, maybe even sometimes angry. And when this happens, what you must do is you must be very careful and realize how you're defining power. There are many ways to define it. Now, if you define power as your ability to control things, well, COVID taught us a lesson, didn't it? If you define power as the stuff you have, well, there's nothing wrong with working hard and having nice things. I hope all of you do have the opportunity to have many nice things in your life, but we all know that if that's the only thing that fuels you and motivates you and drives you, then that's going to be a hunger that's never going to be satisfied. Sometimes, no matter how good you are, no matter how hard you try, no matter how desperately you want to make something so, sometimes some things are bigger than we are. Sometimes you have to ask for help. Sometimes you even have to let go. And in doing so, don't feel powerless. You need to remind yourself that there's a greater kind of power. You see, the greater power is when you empower others. Now, I want you to think about this. When you empower others, the exponential ripple effect goes on forever. Long after I've left this earth, the people that I have uplifted, they will uplift others, they will uplift others. The ripple effect continues on and on. I don't know if you've ever thought about this before, but when you positively affect the life of another person, you do not only have an impact upon that person. Indirectly, your influence also has an impact upon everyone that person will have an impact upon. Their spouse, their children, their extended family members, friends, colleagues, business partners, employees, community members, everyone that they will one day affect, indirectly, you have had an impact upon as well. Multiply that by the number of people you will help every day. Multiply that by the number of years you are in your profession. Without any doubt, it could be in the millions of lives affected by yours. Now, granted, you won't know all their names and you won't know all their stories, and you know what? They won't all know your name or your story either. But on those nights when you go to bed and you feel beaten down and broken down and overworked and overwhelmed and underappreciated, and you're like, why am I working so hard? Does this even make a difference? The answer is yes. The answer is always yes. And here's the great news. You all have an incredible opportunity because you are the helpers. You are going to be the educators, the healthcare workers, the leaders in your businesses. And so every day it is the helpers. When you go into your career, you have the greatest opportunity to have the most purpose and to have the most significance. And then I've thought a lot about that word significance. Now, by nature, I'm a very type A personality. It's like achieve, achieve, achieve. And many years ago, I asked myself, well, Kim, why do you do the things that you do? And to be honest, I didn't like all the answers. And so I decided from then on, No longer was I going to seek achievements. I was going to seek significance. It's a different lens through which to see the world. You see, achievements are about getting something, but significance, it's about being something. And when you're seeking significance, the achievements still happen. But when they don't, like when that door closes and you thought it would be open, or you get a no and you thought it would be your yes, or maybe even when that person leaves, you thought they were going to stay. It still hurts, but you think, oh, but maybe, just maybe that door closed because I know that I'm meant to go through this door instead. And here's the thing. When I say that, I am in no way diminishing the achievement that it took for you to get to this point right now. But it's what you do moving forward. That's what's important. If you take this diploma and you frame it nicely and you hang it in your office, well, you sure to go through a lot just to have a new picture hanging on the wall. But if you use it in some way to provide the credibility that you need, the validity that you need to be able to be in the room where it happens, and use your voice, then it becomes a tool for significance. Now, you've been taught that it's important to invest your money wisely, and I'm not going to get into that, but I am going to tell you a better investment is how you invest in people. Actually, the return on that can be even far greater as well. Now, in this world, there's so much negativity, and it's very hard not to get sucked down into the vortex with it. And so people will say, just avoid all negative people. Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be wonderful? You can't avoid negative people. You may have some loved ones, and you have to admit they're very negative. I do call negative people misery evangelists, because if you think about it, they're always trying to recruit to the flock and kind of spread the gospel of misery. But how do you not get sucked down with them? That's the key. And so I decided in my lifetime I was going to be intentional about surrounding myself with people who fuel my soul. I was going to invest in those relationships because those are going to be the people. Look for the helpers. Look for the people who uplift others and support others. In doing so, it will enrich your life. But when you do this, I implore you to please be mindful to surround yourself with people who don't all look just like you. Seek out relationships, meaningful relationships, not just pleasantries and acquaintances, meaningful relationships with people who have walked a different path, who've seen the world through a different lens, who've experienced the world through a different set of life circumstances. I promise you, it will make you more effective in your career. It will make you more effective in life. We all have very different perspectives because no two of us on this earth have ever experienced life in the same way. And maybe somebody's experience is completely different from yours because maybe they have been fortunate or unfortunate to have a completely different set of circumstances than you have. You can never fully understand what it is to be someone else, but never stop seeking to try anyway. Also, you got to live with a spirit of appreciation. Now, there's this phrase that came out during COVID, toxic positivity. I'm not trying to be toxically positive. There have been nights in my life where I was laid out on that floor crying, and when I was doing that, I wasn't thinking, gee, I'm so glad for carpet. But there's a reason you hear so much about appreciation, and that is because research tells us it works. There's research that tells us that people that have appreciative spirits tend to not only have better emotional well-being, but can sometimes even have better physical well-being. But here is the secret sauce I'm going to share with you today. I've never heard anyone else speak about this. I'm sure someone has, but this is something I figured out. And when I did, it was transformative in my ability to handle stress, especially in my professional career. And it was this. I have learned to honestly appreciate when someone comes to me with something that they're bothered by, upset about, even frustrated with, because I would much rather have them come and tell me than go tell everybody else but me, right? And so, if you can learn to project, you can come to me, talk to me, tell me these things. It doesn't mean that you have to change your decision, but it's a starting point for resolution. And what you'll find is that people will come to you sooner, before things bubble over, before they fester, before they create their own narrative, and before they go talk to other people, instead of coming directly to you. Also, when you have this appreciation, please have an appreciation for the body that you have been given. My precious father, he battled Parkinson's for many years, and if you know about that disease, it's horrible. It causes tremors and rigidity, and then finally your body turns to stone. And watching him, it taught me so much. If you are able to walk, please never complain about walking far. You know, run, jump, twist, bend, leap, dance. Have you ever stopped to really think about all the things that your hands can do? Your arms, they give you the ability to embrace others and provide comfort and love. Your eyes, they let you experience the glory of the sunset and the stars. Your ears, they allow you to hear the thunder of laughter and music. Your heartbeat, it's the very rhythm of your being. Be grateful for that. You see, when we imagine our future, sometimes we're short-sighted, sometimes we don't fully understand that to truly experience joy, we have to have experienced sorrow. To fully understand love, we've had to endure some heartbreak. To have true appreciation for receiving, sometimes it's best if we've been without. It's those valleys that make the ascent to the mountaintop all the more glorious to behold. When I go to meet my Maker, I want there to be more laughter than tears, because I want everyone to know that my life was one that was well used. And so I wish the same for you, dear graduates. As you are stepping forward, boldly walk into this future that awaits you. Choose living over just existing. Exude what you hope to create. Let no one stop you. The world is waiting to hear from you, because the best is yet to come. Congratulations. Thank you.